I'm going to be reading two poems today. And the first poem is, it's called Bleed You. And the whole idea is that all of us believe that we bleed our blood is red in color. But it's not just the blood that we bleed, but we bleed a lot of other things. We bleed a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. So this poem is about that. What does it feel like to bleed in colors apart from red? Some days you bleed in self doubt. It's green and gooey like an alien sap. Some days you bleed in confidence. It's a bright purple, regal and stoic. Some days you bleed in sadness. It's a pale blue that tried to get a little brighter, but come rain or sun, it just seems to fade a little. Some days you'll bleed in affection. It's a muted pink that is pH sensitive. pH as in proud and happy. And someday you'll bleed in stillness, a saturated black you need to sit through. Someday you'll bleed in joy. It's a rainbow of colors that will blend with each other to emit white. So on days that you bleed in colors across the spectrum, remember, you're not a chameleon borrowing colors from your surroundings. You are not a chameleon trying to blend in, trying to fit in. You are not a chameleon. You wear colors by choice. So on days that you bleed in colors across the spectrum, remember, you are a color-changing pen with refills that can be clicked in place, refills that are bunched together in one single body, refills that don colors that like accolades, refills that you choose to bleed in that second, refills that flow until they tire, refills that can be refilled. You can never run out of affection the same way you can never run out of honesty. You see, there are emotions and qualities that defy grocery lists, that cannot be bought by the kg. You cannot quantify yourself by the red blood cells in your body, by the platelets that let them flow. So who says that you can bleed only in red? So that was the first poem. Thank you. And so the second poem is, so a lot of people have, I'm sure all of us would have got that question of how do you write? Like, where do these lines come from, or where do these ideas come from? Everybody gets that question. So I just played with that idea of, what it is for a poet or for anybody, what is it for them to write something, or what is a poem for them? So this, there's no title for this because I think it's just like a free flow piece. A dozen words in a couplet. A 5 feet 2 inches tall poem. A little underweight but healthy poem. Groomed by its own beliefs poem. An ambivert that chooses its readers poem. Clues hidden to an open heart poem. Is that even how poems are measured? Is a poem the poet's shadow that come in rainbow colors, growing and glowing with time? Do you remember the first poem you wrote? The one that sounded like, my bunny is very funny. Yesterday, his nose was runny. So he went to the beach hoping it's sunny, only to find out he was an ice bunny. In the midst of hunting for metaphors, sharpening the chisel to sculpt imagery, you realize that writing is not a superpower. You have betrothed your ears to words and let your mind be the pastor. The poet in you is a timid child of 2, discovering her fingers and their maps. She chooses to let go and trust the world to listen. So the next time somebody asks you, how do you write a poem? Tell them to turn their eyes toward them, observe their reflection without a mirror. Tell them to breathe in, hold it, listen to every atom, smell the stories they have to share. Tell them to ride the convolution of their brain like a water slide, trust their thoughts to thrust them forward, uncertain of when the splash will meet them. Tell them it's going to be a gentle splash, not a splatter on the surface. It might feel like they're drowning, maybe even hurt a little. sweaty palms, teary eyes, some escalated heartbeats, but remind them to shine from every cell, to not rein in anything. Tell them on some days it'll feel like the lungs are out of air and they still need to breathe out. On some days, it's a wild beast stampede with no sense of direction. Tell them a poem is a Google map. Every time they use it, they'll convince themselves they can't live without it. A poem is the friend they thought they'll never open up to, but found a therapist in. A poem is a secret they will want to share with the world for 3 minutes and 27 seconds. No more, no less. It's a listener poet privilege. A poem is a conversation between a thunder and a cloud, an electrifying sandwich. Tell them a poem is a string of words that flirt with each other. Lend a hand for a slow dance, move their feet with grace, except they don't ask for consent to kiss the paper. When somebody asks you how you write a poem, tell them you breathe out, trading atoms for words, preparing for it to end abruptly, just like this one. Thank you.
I think she comes after maybe 6 to 8 months. But whenever she comes, मतलब सीधा वो होता है ना, first ball पे sixer.
Comes with a bang.
Each and every word, each and every word was full of emotions, and the way she narrates, each and every word is so crisp, clear, and it impacts. Amazing poetry. Matlab, we are speechless. Whenever she comes, whatever poetry she does now, so we become speechless listening to her. Swetha, please keep coming often. Not 8 months, 10 months in between. Amazing poetry.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Sunisa?
Yes, sir. I was just completing your sentence. You said na she comes after 6 to 8 months. So I was just saying she comes with a bang.
Yes.
Both of the poems were very nice, Shweta. Like you showed the spectrum of emotions to us with various colors. The bleed one was exceptionally well, and even the second one, which was a free flow writing, whatever you name it, that was also very nice. And the thoughts between a writer, whatever he or she goes through while writing. So everything has been depicted quite well. I loved it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Charuji?
Swetha, you are an amazing poet, I must say, and the depth of your words, like it carries great weight. The words may be very simple, very like your narrative is like flowing, but the words leave a great impact on the listener, and especially the way you have related colors to emotions, and I could see that you have personified each color with an emotion. And the second poem which you recited was, I think only a poet can understand that. What goes into the making of a poem. Like when I started writing, I started in English only. And my book is in English, but later on I switched to Hindi. But I know only a poet can understand the feelings and emotions, what you go through when you write even 2 lines. सो इस पे मैंने कभी 2 लाइनें लिखी थी कि कई बार ये दिल से सकता है, कई दर्द के आंसू रोता है, तब जाके कविता बनती है, तब जाके कोई कवि होता है, तब जाके कोई कवि होता है. So these are the qualities of a poet you brought in your second poem. So lovely. Really enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You should send your poems to Disney. They are like very Disney quality, like the movies Inside Out and Frozen. Like they would go so well with that lot of clarity in thought, and they are very therapeutic. So really great work.
Thank you so much. I think that's a great idea. I'm going to try and send them an email.
Himanshuji?
Shweta, it was too good. The collection of words you used, it was really marvelous. And from the first poem, I love that line which you used, like emotions, the list of grocery which can't be decided by weight. I love that line, literally. And the second poem, I would only say that I'm just breathing out to be a poet. That's it. I'm just saying my lungs to, okay, just breathe out and breathe in and just write a poem. That's it. So I just remember my two lines. Long back, I written two lines in Hindi, like अपने कवि होने का अहंकार तो मुझे रत्ती भर भी नहीं. बिकॉज कॉलेज में और अभी क्या होता है, जब आप कुछ हल्का फुल्का लिखने लगते हैं और उसको दो चार लोग पसंद करने लगते हैं, तो दूर वाले नहीं, पास वाले जो होते हैं वो कहते रहे यार क्या फालतू का लिख रहा है. सो अपने कवि होने का अहंकार तो मुझे रत्ती भर भी नहीं, पर अपनी कविता के हर शब्द पर गुरूर करता हूँ. सो द शब्द आपने जो यूज किए श्वेता, दैट वाज मार्वेलस. यू शुड प्राउड टू बी योर means you should proud like every word, the sentence, the emotions you put it in. That's great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Swetha.
Thank you
बहुत
so
अच्छे.
much.
I think please give a huge round of applause to. तालियां तो बजा सकते हैं हम लोग. Thank you so much, Swetha.